Hi there, I'm Ciera Payton and welcome to my YouTube channel. This is a space where I share all about my experience of being an actress, educator, and entrepreneur in hopes to not only entertain you, but to help you along your creative journey. So let's dive on in. I've been speaking a lot on here about my experience of going into the entertainment industry. And so this would be, my video series where I'm breaking it up into 8 parts. And I believe this is the 4th video here, where today we are going to talk about networking. All right, so networking. I know so many people, say how important it is, and I'm one of those people. I believe it's very important, and I also have found it a little challenging in my career of just figuring out the right and the best ways to network. But I am a huge believer that if you're just yourself and you're natural and you're at the right place at the right time, things could really happen. So one of my favorite networking stories is when I was in high school, I used to work at this place called Semolina. It was a pasta restaurant in New Orleans, and it had all these crazy, amazing, delicious pastas. And during that time, I would say it was around maybe like 2003, 2004-ish in New Orleans. The entertainment industry was starting to, really kind of bloom in New Orleans. We had a lot of productions going on down there, and so it brought about a lot of need for agents, actors, production people, crew people. And so some of those people used to come into the restaurant that I worked at, and I was a hostess there and would wait tables as well. And one of the people that used to come in all the time was an agent, a local agent. She, had been working in New Orleans for a very long time, and she used to talk to me and, ask me if I was interested in the business, and, I would say yes, but, I never really took the huge leap to, go have a meeting or anything. But it was so funny because I was going to school for acting and going to New Orleans Center for Creative Arts, but I think I was also just really shy in public as well, which I don't know why. But she was really crucial in, allowing me to get my first acting job. As I mentioned in the previous video, she had called me, we had exchanged information, and I believe by that time, I had taken a meeting with her, but she had called me to let me know about a film that was auditioning in New Orleans. And so I ended up, booking the film through her, and that is basically, how I got, my first agent, just from networking, speaking with people that would come into the restaurant and, tell them a little bit about myself and also learn a little bit about them as well. Another networking story, another person that I met while working at that restaurant was my dearest friend, Zach. Now, Zach, he's a phenomenal actor, and also during that time he was working as a casting director and also doing extras casting for productions in New Orleans. And what I loved about, networking with him and meeting him was, obviously, I wanted to learn about, okay, how can I, get on one of your productions, or, how could I, break into this business? But it wasn't always about that with Zach. He was just really about, how to just navigate and manage and network and, be in this business. So, Zach would share with me about what he would see in the audition rooms with some of the actors, or just even like what he would observe on set with some of the stars and the directors and producers, and just really kind of teach me how to just be professional and be personable with people, how to speak with people and not rub them the wrong way, or, how to show up at an audition. These are just like really cool things that I didn't have anyone else to teach me. Yes, I was going to school for acting, but, being kind of in this incubator place where you're learning about, Shakespeare and Moliere and the Greek plays and stuff is very, very different from actually being on a film set, and very different from, speaking to people that are working, on both sides of the film industry. And so Zach just became, a really, really great friend of mine, during that time, and even, until now, just kind of talking about the business and learning, a lot about what it is. And so, those are just 2 people from New Orleans that I, met and networked with that just really helped me kind of get a grasp on, the business. Now, when I graduated from college, I ended up moving to New York. And when I went to New York, I was like, okay, how can I start networking here? Who can I meet to just kind of, shadow or, learn from? And so I ended up going to the NEC, which is the Negro Ensemble Company, and just being like, look, I want to volunteer. Do you guys need help with anything? How can I be of service? And that's a big thing that I want you to understand when it comes to networking. I think so often, and I get it too all the time, is people approach me in a sense of like, what can I do for them? Or what can they get out of me? Or, a lot of people want to approach networking in a way of like, oh, if I meet that person, they can give me this. And that's what I mean by, when I had met my friend Zach early on, that it was more so of like learning about what you can contribute to the business or what you can contribute to production, rather than like what can it give to you. I hope that makes sense. So when I went to the Negro Ensemble Company, I was helping out with a lot of administrative work. I was able to get free acting classes because of that. And so it was just, again, all about how can I be of service. That experience of volunteering at the NEC led to me getting my first off-Broadway play, which ended up getting me my first New York Times write-up for Savannah Black and Blue, which ended up down the line getting me my first testing opportunity for a TV pilot. So networking is so, essential, but it's also just really, really learning about how can I be of service. Some other networking stories I have as well is when I was in high school, I did audition for a movie, and I didn't get the role, but I ended up really just making a great impression on the director during that time. And I just kept in touch with him, would ask him questions about auditioning, about acting and characters. And he's one of my greatest friends to this day. We haven't had a chance to work with each other, but I hope so. I hope that we'll be able to work with each other. Also, social media. Yes, it is a huge place to, network and get to meet people. But again, you have to be really, really mindful of how you are approaching people on social media. How can you be of service? In what ways, can you collaborate? Early on in my starting out in my journey, I was able to collaborate with a writer on social media who helped to write, a press release for me. And I thought that was so cool. And basically we had both, connected just through social media, just randomly. They were looking to do a write-up on talent, and I was like, hey, I'd love to, get a press release. And so that was just really cool, because that was kind of my starting point in learning how to start pitching myself or just putting things together in ways to promote myself. Also, one of my networking stories that I have is while I was in college, we had a teacher who came to be a guest teacher there. Her name's Michelle Shea. She's amazing. Look her up. She's a Tony-nominated actress and also a phenomenal director. And while I was in college, she really helped me kind of step my acting game up. And she was someone that I just kept in touch with after I graduated. I was constantly just reaching out to her, seeing, how I could be of service to her, but also, asking her questions. I ended up being an assistant for her after I graduated. And that was amazing because she, not only taught me a lot of amazing things to just incorporate with my acting and really take it to a deeper spiritual level, but, she also, put me in different rooms and spaces with other phenomenal actors. One story I remember so vividly was getting to meet Viola Davis and having the chance and opportunity to get to sit and speak with her. Another one of my, networking stories was when I was in college, just really putting it out there that I wanted to meet Dr. Maya Angelou. And in my senior year of college, I have to say, from freshman year all the way up to my senior year of college, I was writing Dr. Angelou pretty much every other month. Just kept writing her because she lived in Winston-Salem where my university was. And so finally, when I was a senior in college, I got the opportunity to not only meet her, but to go to her house and, go to an event that she was hosting at her house. And so, getting to speak with her, approaching her with a very just humble, energy in terms of, wanting to get to learn from her, but also wanting to, see how can I be of service to her. It led me to have a really cool relationship with her. And from there, she ended up introducing me to Tyler Perry and Reuben Cannon. And for those of you who, know about my journey, I am now on a Tyler Perry series. So networking, it definitely takes some work. You know, you make connections with people, but you have to really make your connections in just a really pure, authentic, humble way. And just also know too that, you know, whenever you are approaching people, you know, people that you admire, or, you know, people that you look up to, or people that you feel can change your life, sometimes you're not going to always be received in the ways that you had hoped for. And that's okay. You know, we're all humans. We all have good days. We all have bad days. It's possible sometimes you can approach people on the wrong day. You know what I mean? Just keep that in mind. So what I would say that, you know, along your journey after you've been bit by the acting bug, you know, while you're learning the craft and while you're gaining the experience of being an actor, and then while you're, you know, diving in and networking, just keep in mind that, you know, we're all doing the best that we can do on any given day. And so while you're on your creative journey, your acting journey, learning how to act, putting it all to practice, or putting that practice to use, you know, when you're networking, my biggest takeaway is just learn how to approach it from an authentic standpoint, how you can be of service, and, you know, how you can seek guidance and advice. And you never know. I mean, it can help you along your career, or you can make some really, really great friends like I have along my journey. And so there you have it. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below in the comments. I would love to keep sharing more videos and more tips and tricks to help you along your journey. All right. So until next time, take care, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.